Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another exciting episode of As the Crypto Churns. What? No. This is our TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review. TRI Crypto Countdown. TRI Tastes Great, Tastes Great. Can't wait. Welcome back to the frivolity. Took last Wednesday off. I ordered a whole bunch of computer equipment for the Black Friday deal. Wanted to boost the RAM and a new power supply and a new hard drive, and I couldn't get a single darn thing to work on the new computer. I literally spent the whole day trying to fix it, and I eventually just gave up. Thank heavens, we have Chris on the site, who's very computer savvy. At least he got me to the point where I got the old system sort of reestablished. So, I was a little bit verklempt last week. So my apologies. I kind of let the team down. But thank heavens Paul and Ben are forgiving. And they let me take the night off because I was all frustrated. But anyway, we're back in the saddle this week, episode 72 of this show. Yeah, we've been here a while. Well, you're the man too, TBG. All of you guys. And I have to say, I'm pretty darn impressed with this TRI community. We've all kept a level head through this kind of slog of the past year. Trying to get through the crypto correction cycle, which seems to be pretty consistent. So I don't think there's really any surprises to veterans in this space. But I have to give a shout out. Like Adam's over there on the YouTube page, kept very level head through this whole period. TBG, and actually Adam and TBG are both in recent. TRI adverts. They were in Portugal with us for the meetup, and they gave us some pretty good reviews. So I think we're doing good things in this world. Slow and steady. That's the whole. I think the most important thing that you have to take away from this current market state is slow and steady. Slow and steady. There are times when it is appropriate to expect to make some serious dough in the market, and you should have your act together, and you should have everything all ready to go. And that when the market's in bull, that's not the time to be in school learning how to build a trading plan, learning how to run a small business of trading. You got to get that stuff done now, so that when we do hit the ground and we're ready to rock and roll in a new bull market, you're ready from the get-go. And sadly in this, and it's really the game of investing, the game of speculating. It's the guys that get in on the bottom when the public is not interested. And if anything, the public is super negative. Those are the guys that do really, really well in this space. So try and learn that, folks. Anyway, I'm probably preaching to the choir a bit here. As I said, a couple OGs over there on the YouTube page. I would expect no less from both of them. Very consistent on the site, and just slow and steady as we work our way through this correction. We will persevere. But I don't know whether you saw the whole FTX scandal unfold there in the U.S. Congress. I think it was yesterday or the day before. But this soap opera is going to take a while to play out, no doubt about it. But good part about it, I suppose, is if you can get the principles of trading down, really get to know what type of risk taker you are personally, and you can actually execute according to plan, you can actually do pretty well. And one gentleman in particular who's just taken this information that we teach people, and he has just run with the ball. Actually, I have the great privilege of actually having him on the call here in this crypto-oriented show on a weekly basis. And that is our good buddy, Paul. Paul, are you here with us this evening?
Yeah, good morning.
There he is this evening in North America, morning in Romania, or wherever he is in the world.
Exactly.
Shh, I think he's reporting in from Mars, to be honest with you. But
Oh, from Romania.
okay, he doesn't have a sense of humor, though. That's the one thing we got to work on, Paul. He's got to work on his sense of humor. Anyway, and it's fun to watch Paul in action because, I mean, the irony of it all is we're not really reinventing the wheel, but he has learned these concepts of, and week in, week out, you guys get to see his report. You see how utterly consistent he is and methodical and very systematic in his approach. And, so week in, week out, we see him making money from trading. So, as I said, it's a great privilege to have you on the call here this evening, my evening, your morning, Paul. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm just waking up, drinking my coffee, and start looking at the charts.
All right. I don't know. We never get really hey, I'm doing great. Or actually, I'm feeling kind of shitty.
No, as usual.
I guess
It's
if
not
anything,
okay.
that's also a sign of a good speculator in the market. You ever seen those guys that win the big poker tournaments? Like they'll win like a $10 million
Yeah,
pot, huge mountain of money in the middle of the table, and they're declared the winner. Woohoo! You won! And the guy stands up and he's like, "Well, okay, well, all
I
right."
was a poker player in the past.
Oh, are you a poker player by trade?
I was. Now I'm not. I'm not anymore.
Well, you've got bigger
I have
fish
a
to fry
family, so
now.
yeah.
Anyway, so great to have you on the call here tonight, and of course, can't wait to hear your report and maybe get a report on how the community you're running is doing and how they're feeling right now. As well, and actually, Ben is the author of this chart, and actually, I make reference to this chart consistently when I'm talking to people, especially when I'm talking to the public, because a lot of times, as an old gnarly technician, I have a bad habit of just making things a lot more difficult. A lot of squiggly lines, a lot of sort of, hey, let's there. Oh, let's go over there. Let's look at there. Oh, hey, look at that squiggly line. Look at that squiggly line. And Ben actually put this report together. I mean, the interesting thing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, of course, because of the algorithmic nature and it's sort of computer code based logic. I actually think there's a lot of, ironically enough, rather cliche uh, price behavior in this space. I burped while I said that. Maybe that was my subconscious. Actually, somebody told me the other day that if you're sneezing, it means you're telling the truth. And I've been sneezing a lot on this site. So, if anything, everybody should take solace in that. If you hear Brian sneezing tonight, it's because he's just coming from a position of truth. So, anyway, I thought that was an interesting anecdote. I guess old wives' tale somebody told me. Okay, so back to the point here. A lot of times when it comes to investing, you actually want to try and keep it as simple as possible. Reduce the noise. Try and, see the forest through the trees. And as I said there a second ago, this is a fantastic chart. If anything, maybe I'll let Ben speak to it himself and walk us through what he sees us doing here. But in essence, Ben is the author of this chart, and I use it quite a bit when I talk to the public. So let's see. Ben, are you with us this evening?
I am.
Hey,
Happy to
there
be
he
here.
is. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm great. Missed you guys.
Yeah. It's been I guess we kind of had a bit of hit and miss lately. And I think actually the whole world is kind of like this right now, eh? Have you guys kind of noticed that a bit?
Yeah. There's been just a few things in people's lives around me that just been just funny things happening.
Well, yeah, and
Uh,
moi aussi, like I'm sitting here. I mean, God, I was on top of the world. Hey, Black Friday, I'm gonna go get a whole bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, fucking A. And I couldn't make a damn thing work. I literally, and what's funny is I have a backup computer that's sitting right behind me here, and I couldn't even get the damn thing to turn on the other day. It's like, what the heck is going on? Is Mercury in
yeah,
retrograde? I don't know.
yeah. I think we need a report from Cole. See what's going on
Yeah,
in there.
Celestial.
Yeah,
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Cole, if you are watching or listening to this, if you can maybe just post in the lounge, if you wouldn't mind, maybe this Friday, because we have sort of freestyle Fridays on the site, or maybe in the first few days of this coming week, maybe through like the holiday, you could give us maybe a little update on what the hell's going up in the stars and the sky right now, and is it affecting us? I wonder if we're heading into eclipse season, right? We had an incredible eclipse pivot there in the market there a couple months ago, right? Wasn't that incredible?
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity, everybody. I see like I said, we have a couple regulators. Actually, speaking of which, according, and Ben, you can see your chart on the screen here, right?
Yep.
What's if there was one simple message that the public could take away from your chart here? What do you think that simple message is?
I don't know. Maybe be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful.
Oh, I like the sound of that. That works. Actually, to that end, Crypto Traders Arena, I am new on the show. You are? Isn't that you, Paul, over there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're being cheeky. Interesting that Ben says that comment, because, of course, here we are down here. And I've told you guys before, I mean, this is just a personal observation. I'm sure probably if the gentleman saw my comments, he probably wouldn't like me very much for saying this. So my apologies, Mr. Remy, if you actually do. I doubt he ever hears a clown like me. But I've told you guys, this gentleman, I mean, he makes fun music videos, and they're very engaging, and he puts a lot of effort and a lot of work into them, and I think he does very well. I mean, you can see already he's got 39,000 views on this particular video. But interestingly enough, he did a Bitcoin billionaire video right at the top of the market in December 2017. And if you go look at your Bitcoin chart, what happened to Bitcoin price in December 2017? It's quite an interesting contrarian indicator. Then I think it was about a year or two ago. I can't remember exactly when. It might have been 2 years, but he came out with a video about Dogecoin, dog money. And that was like literally right at the top of the market. I mean, just stunning how perfectly this guy times these videos. So I do find it interesting that he has come out with a video here that is a parody on the whole FTX scandal. And it's sort of a parody on regulation and on how the crypto market's a disaster and people are getting wiped out, and they took mortgages out to buy NFTs and stuff and got destroyed and stuff. So I'm wondering, is Mr. Remy here trying to mark a bottom? I don't know. I do find that fascinating that the timing, this guy's got excellent timing. So the fact that we haven't heard from him in a while and all of a sudden here he comes with the music video, I wonder whether he's marking some sort of cycle bottom. For the record, for whatever it's worth, I mean, I didn't. Technically, I suppose it is my show, so I'm allowed to go off on rants. But what's the best way to show you this? I like to there's one school gentleman. I'll start this off. One school gentleman. I'm so proud of him, and he's such a good person too. Really hope we can do some business in Portugal together down the road. Fingers crossed. But he had been, interestingly enough, he had made the connection that, often what ends up happening is human behavior repeats itself. And that gentleman, by the way, his name is Eddie. Eddie_techno. If you want to follow him on Twitter, I think he's worth a follow. Pretty nice guy. He'd been sort of doing this historical comparison of, the dot-com boom. What was a typical dot-com boom stock? Amazon was one of the survivors. And are there any sort of historical similarities to the way that Bitcoin has acted through this particular cycle top? This was the greed cycle. This was the top of the millennial dot-com boom back last century. And the interesting thing is I was a stockbroker through all this, so I remember it intimately. Here we are. This is the top of the fear cycle, so the exact opposite end of this massive I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It's like as humans, as we go through our life cycle, we have different sort of behavioral patterns, and given whatever the largest demographic is, they often affect the money flows through the various cycles. We made reference to coal there earlier in celestial studies. A really simple sort of clock in the sky that marks these pivots really, really well is the Jupiter-Saturn relationship, and where are they in relation to each other, conjunct and opposition. Moves on a fairly consistent schedule. About once every 20 years they conjunct. And of course, we just went through one, through the insurrection. I don't know whether you remember that or not, but that was, it's interesting that that's exactly, that literally happened almost exactly at the same time as that Jupiter-Saturn cross. All of the hallmarks, ironically enough, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the ultimate personification of people being fearful in our society, and they don't trust government. They don't trust the currency system. They want to get the hell out of fiat. They want to get the hell out of the banksters' control. Hell, you saw what Mr. Orange Toupee tried to do there. This is serious questions about, the sort of institutions of our society. Right on cue. Literally, this is what I call the fear cycle apex. So, seeing something like a Bitcoin and the whole cryptocurrency story, where people literally would believe in a guy wearing track pants and shorts and a t-shirt and playing video games while doing $1 million deals over, Chapow and all those clowns. And literally, that was the attitude a year or so ago, dog money and all that. A lot of students that I talked to on the site, they fully expected United States of America, and more importantly, the US dollar hegemony to finally collapse, and that's the end of that big bad wolf. I don't think that that's the case, unfortunately, for any US dollar haters. I think, if anything, sadly, this cycle is actually one other gentleman who likes to follow celestial cycles on this site. His interpretation of this is the cycle of consolidation of power. And given what's happened with the way that the central banksters and the Rothschilds, who basically control all these Western fiat currency systems, it just smacks of consolidation of power. Having said that, we are going through sort of the hangover now of that massive sort of crisis apex. And I do find it interesting that the .com sort of darlings, if you pull up their price charts, then you compare them to sort of something like Bitcoin, the fear cycle darlings, their charts and their price action are looking very, very similar. And I'm a little worried, it's interesting that the Remy guy comes out with this, but what's interesting about this is he even finished the video kind of going, well, that's not really what I'm talking about. I don't really want regulation and all that kind of stuff. So, right here, I don't really want them to regulate. So I don't know whether this is going to mark the bottom. If anything, if this video had been like, oh my God, it's all a scam, it's all crap, it's all garbage, that kind of stuff, then I'd say, all right, we are at the bottom. And what I'm a little worried about here right now, to be honest with you folks, is I don't hear enough pain out of the crypto audience yet to actually make me believe that we are at this bottom. I mean, I've been at this game now, and I came into this space. I think I was guided into this space for a specific reason by my dear beloved wife. And I have studied this space like a dog for the past 8 years. The end of 2013. Actually, I'd say even a good chunk of 2000. So that's 9 years. I have literally been watching this thing trade tick by tick by tick by tick. And I've seen all of the stories. And I find it fascinating that, I'll go on the site and I'll ask about something like, hey, do you guys remember Mike Hearn? Who the hell's that? Or you guys remember Phoenix hack and Phoenix tokens? Nobody remembers that. Do you? In fact, I even talk about, I used to nickname the guy because he was kind of chubby back then. But the guy who actually 9 years ago, there was a guy who literally did exactly the same thing as what you've seen with this FTX. Almost identical at Mt. Gox. It was literally exactly the same story. I mean, not and nothing to do with Remy. But I might be able to show you. I sat, because I like to be a good market commentator. I sat and I listened to what the heck is it? Mr. J. And I guess this was it here. This testimony yesterday. Of course, every crypto fan loves her, of course, right? But this gentleman, who's now the receiver for I guess he's the trustee for the FTX insolvency. And the interesting thing is he made a comment, and it was sort of picked out as the line, that this was just classic embezzlement. That's all it was. This was just so cliche embezzlement. And that's exactly the same thing Roly Poly Oly did back in 2012, 2013 with Mt. Gox, whatever the hell the date that was. Identical. Exactly the same thing. And what's interesting is now I'm starting to hear some of these politicians. There's one guy from California, which is so funny because he started to perk up a few years ago, and the crypto community just took a poop on his head. Seeing if I can try and find him for you. He's a bald guy out of California. I can't find him. Anyway, I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. He's kind of like, I told you so, this crypto's toxic, all that crap. But there's another politician in here, this guy right here. This guy, it was so funny when Sherman, the crypto community just destroyed this guy because he called Bitcoin a fraud, and then all the crypto kids dug through his history and pointed out he was convicted of this fraud and of that fraud and of that fraud and stuff. And they're like, you're the last guy in the world to be calling Bitcoin a fraud, which is funny. But later on, I was hearing from, and I can't remember, I don't doubt I'll be able to find him. I think it was this gentleman, one of these guys. I don't know. I might have him wrong. But he's kind of saying, look, we gave you crypto kids some leeway. And we were kind of like, okay, they're building out the technology and then technology's good. But we're getting a little sick and tired of the same BS time and time and time again. And what's interesting about this story is this lady here, of course, our favorite socialist, she actually pointed out that there was a huge conflict of interest by the Bahamian government around this FTX. So there's even a $100 million scandal going on even after the fact with this FTX thing. So I'm worried that this story is just getting started. It's not ending. And this, in fact, they even asked Mr. J roughly how long did it take to go through the whole process all the way to convictions on Enron? And he said it took a good year or so. So I'm a little worried that the crypto community is kind of just brushing this off. And like I said, I don't think I'm hearing enough pain. And like I said, bless JoJo. She brought me into this space. I've watched this space religiously, and I can tell you, every one of these cycle bottoms, we always hear stories about the suicide hotlines. There are some people, of course, who do actually take their lives. Sadly, unfortunately, my wife succumbed to her mental illness, and maybe that's half my... Sorry. It's a bit tough for me to talk about that stuff. But maybe that's half the reason why I'm in this space. Is she said, Brian, clearly after she passed, she can't... I know it sounds kind of weird, but, I tell everybody this, and she said I had the opportunity to make a big difference in this world and in this space. And I think, some of the PMA and some of the, we'll get through this. Let's instead of just flying by the cuff and, of course, just listening to Remy videos and crap like that and FOMOing in and listening to pro football players give you cryptocurrency investing advice. Like, that's not a potion for disaster, is it? Let's maybe build a plan. Let's try and identify what are the reasons that will actually get me to invest. I bill myself as a rational analyst. What that means is I want to have a fundamental reason for investing and participating in a story. It's not just price charts. I want to know that there's actually some value in the asset that I'm considering investing in. And, to that end, here we are, Bitcoin's, $16,000, $17,000, $18,000. And I ran across an article the other day, and I even tweeted it out because it kind of shocked me, right? You can see where this bottom is. Look over here, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. And we've talked lots about, what is the cost to actually produce a Bitcoin. But, and this is the one reason why, as a commodities broker... And I was a commodities broker for quite a while. We have just basically a rule in the commodities industry that commodities will go zooming up in price. And of course, the public comes in and buys the top like idiots. And they're going to lose money. But who better to know what the value of an asset is than the people that are actually in the business? So this is where, futures commodity broker, well, it turns out that Bitcoin... Terra Wolf, I'm not quite sure who these guys are. Maybe some of the audience watching this video knows who they are. They said they got like 14,000 miners. Look at that, 14,000 S19J Pro, whatever the hell that is. And it's not even going to cost them any more money. They've already bought and paid for it. But more importantly, this number right here. At an all-in cost to mine of approximately $6,300 US per coin. $6,300, folks. So just understand that the players in the industry, like if I was looking at the gold price and I wanted to see where was a bottom in gold, I would look to Newmont Mining, American Barrick, Placer, all the, El Dorado, all the classic gold miners. And I would just say, what is your cost to actually produce an ounce of gold? And that's typically where commodities bottom in price. There would be no difference here in crypto, and there should be no difference in POW coins. Now, valuing POS coins, I have yet to figure that out. Now, I know there's a lot of people that sort of smoke and mirrors. All right, Paul, sorry I'm talking so much. Paul's going to go have a smoke, and then when he comes back, we'll jump into his report. But I think you should all be cognizant of the fact that these big players that are running massive Bitcoin mining farms, their cost of production, they have to disseminate this. They have no choice. They are publicly obligated to tell you the truth. If they are a publicly listed company, then they must tell you the truth. And actually, you can even, just for fun, we should probably even go look at what this guy's chart looks like. Let's go. We're having fun watching the Fed today. And actually, we even did a public video about that, so you can check out the feed for that. But let's go see what this publicly traded cryptocurrency stock, there it is, Terra Wolf. What does it look like? Man, it sure has come down an awful long way, eh? I don't think I see a bottom here yet, and what's concerning, of course, is this is a weekly chart, so we're only about halfway through the week, and maybe this thing comes storming back, tough to say. But it looks like the market actually gapped lower here this week. We had a bit of a rally there midweek. But yeah, interesting how they've left a big gap here, and then they actually took the market to new lows here today. So I don't see a quote-unquote sort of secular bottom here. If anything, what I've told you guys over the longest time period is that these bottoms, in fact, actually, if this guy's been around a while, oh yeah, well, that's not bad. Usually these bottoms, right? So, oh, this guy's been around the space a while. All right, so there's 2017, there's 2018. Notice we had to come all the way down here, and look how long this base took to form. And this is what you really want to see out of the space to know that, okay, well, maybe we're finally near some sort of bottom. I like to call that a saucer bottom. It takes quite a while. That started in March of 20 and broke out in November. Literally almost a whole year to turn the corner. And, really simply put, the buy signal is on a break above that high, big honkin' W. You could have bought like the little W's in here. You'd be long from $5 and sitting up at 30, 40, 50 bucks. You're laughing, right? Sell half on a double at 10, maybe even reload. I generally like the idea, just sell half on a double, get yourself a risk-free trade. And then where the hell the rest of it takes you. You want to keep spoon feeding on the way up? That's up to you. That's what I did with Terra. I mean, the irony of it all is I didn't lose any money on that Luna story. I traded it like a boss. So, you can see we just made a new low here. I don't know whether this is a good historical comparison, but if it is, and let's say this peak here is somewhat similar to that peak, then really you can kind of see we're probably going to turn the corner back up somewhere about the middle of the summer. And that's assuming a bottom comes in here. We don't have any signs of a bottom yet here, folks. So I thought it was just interesting that these guys, they're saying that their cost of production is $6,300. And then we go back to that tweet about the Amazon comparison. And I'm worried that people are assuming that the worst of this is over. And I just don't think it is. This should be now about a full year of basing. And it's going to be a pain in the butt as we go through this. But I'll tell you, if you can make it through this and you've got a level head, this is a reference to the BTC halving right here, this dotted line right here. And our rule is that we generally want to start accumulating Bitcoin about 6 months ahead of that halving event. And I think if you can do that, I think that tentatively right now the next halving is March, April of 2024. I think that's when it is. This I've put down here May of 24. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's, we could, I think I even have it right now, right? Next BTC halving event. I think they even have like a countdown clock. So here we go. 2024, there you go. 480 days. So, interesting. April of 24. So we know that, and this is going back to Ben's awesome image. We know that the market likes to bottom, right? Here's the previous halving, about 6 months prior to that halving. I mean, you got a hell of a gift right there. But even over here, awesome. It's about 6-8 months before. Then the halving here, about 6 months before, that was the original bottom. And then also notice too, and this is what I kind of think our bottom's going to look like, is we're going to have some sort of panic dump here into the beginning of 2023. I kind of like that thinking, to be honest with you. Then we go through the process of 2023. Keep in mind, I talked about that congressional hearing. This is one, and it turns out that there are two of these FTX House official hearings on this, and then following that, then they will get together and they will propose legislation and all that kind of crap. And it's kind of interesting because these two have been kind of like a Laurel and Hardy kind of pair. She's Waters, of course, she's the Democrat. The Democrats lost the House to the Republicans, and so this guy's now going to be the guy running the show. And so these two, they are always sparring back and forth. It's funny listening to them. But in essence, this guy's going to be the one running the show for the next couple of years on all this. Is he more friendly to FTX in crypto? I don't know. Only time will tell. But I do like the idea that number one, if we go back and we look at historical comparisons, I do like that there's going to be some sort of dump here at the beginning of the new year. I think there'll be like a reactionary recovery, but I think there actually has to be one more dump through sort of next spring, summer, which everybody in crypto, of course, is going to be thinking the exact opposite, that, crypto is going to rally in the summer. But I actually think I wouldn't be surprised if our ultimate low, and, like that $6,500 price, panic dump, it trades below 10,000 in some sort of freak, selling climax. We start getting, the suicide hotlines and all that kind of conversation going about the space, and that marks our long-term bottom in the sector. That's sort of what I'm thinking here, folks. So go slowly. We're not quite out of the woods yet, but at the same time, too, that doesn't mean you can't make money, trading. And actually, Paul, you back from your smoke yet?
Yep.
There he is. Awesome. Probably an excellent lead-in. I did see before we got the stream up and running this evening that Paul was actually even, I don't know whether it was on my feed. I don't know where I saw it. But I did see that that Paul was where did I see that? I mean, let's... there you are, Crypto Traders Arena. I'll let him obviously speak to it, but I thought it was interesting that, actually... Oh, maybe this isn't the one. Oh, yeah, here, this is what I saw earlier. He said, everyone is bullish. I am forced by my trading plan to look for short setups. So maybe... if you're ready to go here, Paul, we can hop on over to your screen and we can take a look at what short-term he's seeing in the market and maybe get a feel for sort of what kind of trading plan is working in crypto right now. So what do you think, Paul? You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So a nice half-hour preamble there, sort of bigger picture. Now let's dig into Paul, and I'm going to stop presenting. We'll let Paul present. I suppose we can put my funny little mug away. So as soon as you're ready to present, Paul, you've got the floor, and I'll put myself on mute. Here he comes. There he is. All right, so I will maximize my screen if I can. Sometimes screw this up. Boom, there we go. That's good. And I'll put myself on mute. So, Paul, you've got the floor. Tell us what you see happening in the market.
I didn't do a report last week, but I'll start with usually weekly report. On Crypto Traders Arena community, we had some results last week. Average results, not too much. 8 trades, 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 stop at scratch, 6% profit. Keep in mind, this is only the trades we post with stop loss and take profit before the entry. We have more more trades usually in 1 week. Well, acceptable. 6%, it's okay for me. News updates in the community. I start posting daily plan at the London session, and they are streamed live on YouTube, available for everyone on Crypto Traders Arena channel. We have now we made another channel on Discord, forex indices, metals for day traders, and we post trade ideas for the traditional market as well. A lot of traders from our community, they are trying to switch from from crypto. It's something normal in the bear market. They are trying to go on forex or traditional market. Even last week we had 2 traders get funded on prop firms. That's nice to see. Both of them, they start with $100 challenge first, and now they have they are trading. One is trading 20K account and one is trading 50K account. Nice to see they are becoming professional traders. We have a giveaway for the end of the year, as you can see on this one. So we have some give back to the community. And let's take a look now at the long term. On the 12-month chart, if you look at this bigger picture, you can see 14K. It's a really nice level. This chart will not change so easily, so you'll see it on every weekly report. I like to see this big picture. I don't think we'll go up until we'll test at least 14K on I don't know, on monthly, 3 months chart. We need to touch that level. That doesn't mean we'll not go below 14K, but we need to tag that level. It's too important level. And if you put from the zero line until the top, that is also the 78.6 level retracement. So I'm still thinking we can tag that 14K even below. Maybe 88.6, I don't know, 9K, something like that. On weekly chart, below 2017 all-time highs. I don't like to predict what market will do I'll play level by level. We are below 2017 all-time highs, and we're just bouncing around, and we're trying to bearish retest that level. I don't know even if we'll have the power to go to 20K back again, but seems like we are trying to bounce to do a bearish retest on that one. As you can see, this one is trying to bounce. We had some bullish movement in the last week, but still not strong enough to retest at least 20K. On daily chart, definitely we are below this level. We had this house level. You can see this big W, and the first level of house is exactly at 18K and $200, something like that. The level we just tagged yesterday. So indicators trying to tell that this report was made Sunday. So on my report, I saw that Bitcoin had bullish divergence on MACD, RSI, even something on OBV. Willy was oversold, briefly oversold. So I saw some bullishness in indicators trying to show us that the market is stronger than it looks on the chart. And this week we just tagged that this Wyckoff check on this level on the line, and I had a SFU setup exactly at this level. I'll show you a bit later. On 4-hour chart, it's a bit late now because this report is from Sunday, but we had an AB equals CD, AB equals CD, and I was thinking we can do another CD, another AB equals CD, and get us in the top of this range. And we just had that. I was thinking if the market will go straight up from this level, then I don't know. I was thinking what was the last move, but the market moved nicely down, tag the long reload zone from this move up, and then put another move up, tag this AB equals CD, and with all the news, the market is not. I was expecting a retracement after the news, a bit more consistent. We didn't have that. So bearish. We had some bearish divergence on 4-hour chart. You can see in this one, but the daily bullish divergence was stronger than 4-hour chart. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, we tagged the reload zone 61.8, even a sweet spot, and we are trying to form a W. At this level, at that point, we are trying to form a W. Now we have a W on Bitcoin dominance. So until I'll see an M on at least 4-hour chart on this chart, I'm not touching altcoins on swing trading. I'm just leaving altcoins alone until I'll see an M, some weakness in this chart. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, we're just staying at the top of the range and the short reload zone. Now we made a nice move down to 70072 and touching this lower part. But at that point, I was just thinking we are in the short reload zone. Uh, we are just tagging this trend line. I don't know if you'll have the power to go up, even to touch another short reload zone. This one. So we made a nice. Let's put the Bitcoin. Let's see now. As you can see, we are below the short reload zone. Let's put for days to have the same time frame. As you can see, we are going down, and now we can do an AB equals CD to the downside, just to retest this level to touch this weak low below the middle of the range. That's my view on Ethereum versus Bitcoin on bigger time frame. Total two below reload zone. I don't see, this is not a reversal for me on total two. I need a clear W. I need to see this trend line, a nice W the other side of the trend line. So you can see, not there yet. We still need some consolidation. We still need some more power to put a W the other side of this big trend line. Until then, we are not bullish. We are still in the bear market. We don't have a proper W on weekly chart. And even if I'll get the W on this chart, I need a W the other side of this trend line to think bullish after the what we saw in the last couple of months. The calendar from this week, we had a lot of news. Yesterday, even today, we had a lot of news. I tried to tell people from the community to sit out, to wait, maybe scalp in London session and in the New York session, to sit out and wait. You only need, I don't know, on crypto, you only need one mistake to blow your account up on a smaller time frame or on scalping level. Because on scalping, you need to compensate. You are hunting small moves, so you need a bigger position size. And with a bigger position size, if you have a ugly slippage, it's crypto after all, you can blow your account up just in one trade. So let's say you are hunting 0.1% move in the Bitcoin chart, and you have a violent move that will get you ugly feel and ugly slippage of, I don't know, $500. That it's enough to $500 to $1,000. That it's enough to blow your account up. So the best thing you can do in the news, 1 hour before, 1 hour after, but especially 5-10 minutes before and in exactly in the news, don't try to outsmart the market. Move your stop loss in profit, but the best thing you can do is just close everything and wait on the sidelines completely until the after the news. I did this. I blow, I don't know, not the entire account, but I get a, from 1% I get 6% loss on trading in the news. So I'm not. I know what I'm speaking about. So let's see. Divergence and location on 4-hour chart give me the impression, indication we can have a micro rally, but I need a clear. You can see this trend channel. I need a clear EM on at least on 4-hour chart. I need a clear EM. We don't have that EM yet, not even now. Let's see on we have Bitcoin dominance. This one on 4-hour chart. Let's go and see. As you can see, we don't have any weakness in this chart. Yeah, we are in short reload zone. Yeah, we are maybe even above the short reload zone, but I don't see any M. Until I'll see a clear M on 4-hour chart, I'm not touching any altcoins. You can see the list. Everything is on red. So I'm not touching anything until I see some weakness in this chart. Now is the best thing to do is trade Bitcoin if you want to day trade, to trade to the long side the Bitcoin, and if you want a short hunt on Ethereum or some big altcoins if you want to hunt a short. Until I see a clear M, I'm repeating myself, but it's really important. Until I see some weakness, I'm not touching any altcoins. If Bitcoin will broke down with the Bitcoin dominance looking like that, will destroy altcoins, will break the support, and it's too bad to lose you worked, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, or even 6 months to gain some profit, and now to give it back to the market. At least this is my view. I had some trades on some altcoins. They are looking strong. AVAX, we didn't manage to get at the entry. We are back below. Let's see 4-hour chart on AVAX. Let's take a look. I guess on this template I have it. Let's see if I have it on here. We broke the support and then we moved up, but it wasn't a valid setup for me. I was hunting this bot and I just need a touch of this line to get me on the long side, but instead we broke the stop loss area, so no trade for me on this one. KNC, same idea. I had a half of the position on this one. I was stopped out. Next boss. Nothing I could do on this one. An Atom, I was hunting 1-hour shark setup. Let's see exactly Atom, 1 hour, but it's okay even on 4-hour chart. No, I guess I made this chart on a different template, so I don't have it. But the same idea, we lost the support, nothing to do. If I'll not get a clear entry, I'll just sit on the sidelines. Personally, I was thinking Sunday that the market condition, they are hardish, something like that. But we are back in the hard mode. You saw the movement in the last couple of days, up and down. I don't think this market is for beginners. Beginners now they have to be in the learning mode. Let's say paper trading, or how I like to see to tell the beginners, go and do the $100 challenge. My idea with the $100 challenge is to learn how to trade, to learn the process, and eventually to vet some setups. If you are not profitable with $100, risking 1% on every trade, you don't have any business to have and risk more money in the market. Any business is not the best market condition for a beginner now. And at the end, you know me, treat trading like a business, and market will treat you like a king. That's my view on the last events on the crypto space. I see a lot of FUD about Binance. I don't know. Yeah, it's possible that Binance will do the same thing like FTX. But keep in mind, if Binance will go down or USDT will go down, we'll have bigger problems. I don't think the market will recover so easily if Binance or USDT will go down. I saw a lot of influencer posting FUD about Binance. In my logic, I don't see any reason about that, but you never know. So I keep my money on the ledger, and I only keep exactly what I need to be able to day trade on the Binance platform. The rest are on the ledger, safer than on the ledger. I don't know where I could put them. It's safer than in a bank, in my opinion. That on the ledger, my money, they are safer than in a bank. Brian, that's my view of the market.
I think that was a fine summary. Interesting dovetail to what Paul's saying. Of course, we've invested a lot of time and effort into. Maybe I'll take over now. You can see.
Yeah, let me close the.
We'll go back over to this page. Over the past few years, we've put together my 1980s website, brought it into the 21st century. And I suppose here we'll let you see. There I am again. Hi, everybody. And actually, cool shirt, eh? And actually, that was interesting. Paul's got a big sort of year-end giveaway. That's probably something maybe we should do. Maybe we should throw some merch in there.
People who sign up for level 1 with my referral, I don't want to use that money, so I will give it back to the community. And I think it's okay in this bear market to give something back. I'll give some, I don't know, 3 winners for premium. I'll give them some one-to-one with me or Stefan.
There you
go. Some small amounts of money. I think it's a good way to compensate the community.
Yeah, not a bad idea. So if anything, Josh, our marketing team representative, maybe you can think about how TRI can sort of share the love, kind of the same thing that Paul's doing. Maybe we even can pitch in maybe like a level 1 course program or something for your raffle. Are you doing a raffle? Is that what it is? People sign up for
Yeah.
We might even do a raffle here on this show, maybe into the end of the year. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, why not?
So anyway, PMA for the win. We've got all this fun garb. Like you can see, this is one of my favorite. I don't know whether you can see on the YouTube video. This is one of my favorite expressions. There's no wrong way to read that line. It's just a question of what your perspective is. And, of course, I got my hoodie. Where's my hoodie with my TRI logo? Oh, maybe I have it inside out. Oh, yeah, there it is. The Rational Investor. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, thank you for reminding me about, I suppose, the end of the year. Good karma. Good opportunity to give back a little bit. Maybe we should have a raffle into the end of the year. That's not a bad idea. Okay, so I wanted to just follow up what Paul was saying. This is, as you can see, this is our crypto dashboard that I happen to have up on the screen right now. And, as we were kind of saying, thank you, TBG. What letter of the alphabet are you seeing on the screen here? And unfortunately, they're not W's. There's a heck of a lot of M's here. So, until this starts to clean itself up, it was interesting. Coming out of October and through early November, we did have a pretty nice pivot there. I mean, it was a pretty good buying window. And there were actually quite a few doubles and triples and quadruples in the altcoin space through that window. And if you were watching these shows over the past couple months, I mean, Paul was just showing you some fantastic trade ideas that were working quite nicely. But I have to say, listening to him and his cautionary words about maybe we ought to leave alts alone a little bit here while the market cleans itself up a bit, that's not such a bad idea. Usually, into the end of the year, we have in the stock market what's called the Santa Claus rally. So we might find that this thing gets its footing. I've been warning people, and Paul kind of alluded to it a little bit there in his presentation. Although, let's see if I can find the right chart for you. Where do I want to go with this? I suppose, and I like to use a nice simple moving average system to tell me when the market has pivoted. This happens to be the BTC perpetual, futures contract future, quote unquote, because it's not really textbook future. Still very much pointing down. I mean, it is interesting. We are trying to put in bull divs, and the market is technically oversold. I mean, if this really is a bottom, we'd want to see volume start to ramp up and the buyers really step up. But until these moving averages turn back up, I think we're probably asking a bit much for a bull. And interesting how Paul made reference to that 14,000 number. On this perp futures, we would call this the institutional fingerprint, that bottom right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got to go down there and dip into that level. And then, of course, I told you about, cost of production and stuff like that. If anything, using that moving average system, we had some names that have actually turned bull. But the only problem is, like, if we look at something like a Litecoin now, you can see that just even where we are now, I mean, gee whiz, this thing's actually moved up quite a bit. So, there's the turn at 59, and here we are at 75. I mean, what the hell? That's like a 30-40% premium over that. And anybody that knows me is going to know that, and actually there was another name that somebody had asked about through the FOMC meeting for me to look at, and it's the same sort of thing. This is OKT, and this is kind of like OK Coins, Binance type of coin. And it's the same sort of logic. I mean, you can see this is a weekly chart. You can see the moving averages have turned. You can see the big fat W's that Brian loves to try and tell me that, yes, indeed, we have a bottom here. But if we go down to like a daily chart, how on earth can I buy this? I mean, look at it. Here, whoops. Here is our fib study, and there is the most recent high. I just conjecture that maybe we work our way up into this Foggenbaum level up top here. But if we just use the current fibs, this is the bottom, or the top, beg your pardon. Well, you can see where the bottom is. I mean, there's the W right there. In fact, even there's beautiful W's all over here, but not up here. So, if anything, it makes perfect sense what Paul's saying. If I'm thinking about buying altcoins, I better cool my jets for a bit. So, that's sort of the backdrop of the market right now. There are some names that are trying to flash trending signals, but I think they've just gone way beyond buy windows. So, like Litecoin, which has been sort of the darling of late. I suppose we can go look at it on Binance. You see there is the bottom, and if we just draw a simple trend line, connect the dots, we don't even need to overthink this, right? There is basically your support line. Well, you can see Litecoin sitting here 74 bucks, and that trend line sitting here, there's the POC, right? So we know that that's basically where everybody's long. That's 54, so that's almost like like a 50% premium over where the floor is. So this market, sadly, I mean, it became kind of expensive very quickly. And when you look at this chart in particular, we've got some people on the site that are, things like head and shoulders aficionados. And when I see this chart, actually, I think I even like this one better here. There to there. That means to there. Yeah, something along those lines. This is looking toppy. Toppy. So I can understand Paul's concern. Be careful. This is actually looking a little dangerous now, which kind of sucks. Because, like I said, on the weeklies, we finally getting some uppy action since we really didn't have much, but it looks to me like that's kind of exhausting itself. And then if you listen to people like Julian on the site, and Julian trades a lot of the legacy markets. Where's the best place to show you? I guess we can just go here. Like this is the S&P 500 breadth. I mean, technically, we're actually working a sell signal on the breadth indicator for the S&P 500. Julian's been warning people that he is not very bullish of the broader market of late, which I like. It just goes to show, like minds think alike, and I think Julian's come along as an excellent trader in his own right. He's worked his ass off over the past 8 years, and I think he's starting to see the fruits of his labor. And just keep in mind, everybody, it's one thing to learn the process. It's quite another to actually get really good at the process. I would just simply say that everybody's going to learn at their own pace. Some people like Paul can pick it up very, very quickly. Other people that I've worked with over the years, it takes them a little bit longer to get into their zone. And interestingly enough, the S&P 500, this, we had that incredible head fake move. Thank you very much. Super Googly. Hi, Brian, level 1 student here. Can you please have a look at HSI and see if it has a likely bottomed or just another fake move up? All right. Geez, that's an awfully nice gift. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So just to finish this thought, and then we'll pop on over. And actually, we'll probably spend the last half of the broadcast. Although we haven't heard from Ben yet tonight, I wouldn't mind checking in with Ben, see what's on his mind as well. And then we'll get into sort of the requests, okay? Mind you, that's such a big request. I mean, maybe we'll just take a quick boo at that. But let me just finish this thought, and then we'll move on. So I've been talking on the site quite a bit, and I actually even put tweets and stuff out about moving average sandwiches. And usually when the market gets into one of these moving average sandwiches, it is darn difficult for the market to break out of it. And you can clearly see we tried to break out of it, huge head fake, massive trap, and here we are right back into the moving average sandwich. As well, too, something that's a little disappointing. You notice that this high here is 410.49. That high there is 410. So that technically is a higher high. But notice the momentum indicators all made lower highs. And look at Willie. Oh, my goodness. Willie nice and stupidly overbought there. Even the volume move on this big pump up, it was less than this last bar big move up. So we got a whole bunch of nasty divergences, right? And then, we've built this breadth indicator, and I would use the breadth indicator itself as just yet another indicator. And if we look at something like the entire broader breadth market, oh boy, look at all this. All right. Obviously, TRI CTO is going to have a little bit of work for him when this loads up. Anyway, here's our breadth indicator. This is the Dow Industrials. You can see it's making lower highs and lower lows. Transports is making lower highs and lower lows. The bond market's finally breaking apart. Ironically enough, the market that's actually starting to firm up a bit is the commodities. And, of course, that's the last thing we want to see because then that's going to be more inflationary pressure. So I guess just the point that I'm trying to make here is that this market looks very, very heavy technically. And then, we scroll down to our cryptoverse, and you can see not only is the big indexes, the big ones, the top 30, it working its way lower, but even the crypto universe, like the broader spectrum, the whole space. And this speaks to Paul's warning that, better be careful in the altcoin space right now. Now, the only caveat to all of this that leaves me with a little bit of hope, not much, but a little bit, our blog post heading into the end of the year, you can see that December, we actually wanted to see a bit of a move up here into the end of the year. This is the blue dotted line is us, second year new Democrat president. That sort of grinds its way higher into the end of the year. So I still think that there could be a Santa Claus rally here in the space. As well, when we look at things like, actually it looks like this was an update of a previous blog post. And I have to say, TRI's research was spot on this year. We had this market nailed. This was a blog post from back in August where we were saying, look for a pivot mid-summer and look for a move up into the end of the year. And that's exactly what happened in the stock market. So decennial reports were suggesting up into the end of the year. January barometer is expecting up into the end of the year. So I don't think I'm really expecting the market to break apart here. It's just I think that the upside is relatively limited from here. I can't see a massive move to the upside, but maybe if we're lucky. You never know. Maybe that guy over in Eastern Europe says, you know what? I've had enough of murdering people. Let's call peace. Who knows? And maybe the market has a big rally following that. So there's your crypto image. There's your backdrop. It's a dangerous looking market, and it's also dangerous for the legacy markets as well. In fact, actually, there's one gentleman on the site that uses this breadth indicator to time all of his purchases, and he says, I will not take a trade on the long side buying something unless I see that both the S&P 500, which is a nice sort of proxy for the broader market, and the crypto market are both pointing up. And right now, they're both pointing down. That's not a good sign. And actually, it's interesting, in after hours, we were kind of talking about that just briefly a moment ago. In after hours, I think, the whole risk market, there's the ES, there's the NASDAQ, here's Bitcoin. We were contemplating whether there was a bottom coming in at the end of that Fed announcement, and they quickly busted that bottom following Powell finished talking. And you can see how overnight we've just cascaded our way lower here in crypto and in the stock market. So it looks like the bears got the ball right now. That's not the best backdrop for you. It's going to be a bit of a slog. And actually, speaking of that, this is an interesting commentary on the broader market. Aside from the fact that my referral code's not working anymore. I'm not sure what that means. But, you notice that the U.S. market is working its way lower, and it looks relatively orderly. If we actually go to the international markets, you can see, the European stock market is getting wiped out. And actually, it looks like it's trying to bottom here, which is interesting. Canadian stock market wiped out, heading lower. Australian, Asian stock markets, proxies, getting wiped out and heading lower. So ironically enough, the U.S. market actually is the strongest of the entire world markets. So to understand why crypto might look kind of weak here, we're not really doing it justice just looking at the U.S. market. If you actually look at the rest of the world equity markets, they are very, very unhappy right now. So go figure. Okay. I hope that added to the conversation. As Paul was sort of alluding to there earlier, and I kind of would have to agree with him. It feels to me like, that's a weekly chart. it just feels to me like the market had a really nice jump up. We got some nice weekly turn signals. But now, we're getting a little long in the tooth. And that looks like he could take a bit of a pause for a bit. All right. I will definitely get to the requests, and we can take a look at, somebody's asking us to look at Dero. Obviously, Mr. Super Chat contribution. Thank you very much. We'll put you at the front of the list. I suppose money talks in this world, eh? But Ben, we haven't heard from you tonight. What have you been thinking lately? Is there anything in particular you would maybe like to share with the viewers?
Yeah, we could probably take a quick look at the Litecoin halving schedule.
Oh
since
yeah,
you got Litecoin
yeah.
out there.
I remember this before we. Well, the last time that we were chatting, you had told us that you had a Litecoin sort of thinking process that you wanted to share. Actually, and I was really looking forward to this. So this should actually be pretty cool. All right. So do you want to screen share?
Yep, sure.
Okay, so I'll stop presenting. We'll put my funny mug away here for now. There is Ben. Is that Ben? That's your logo? That's kind of a cool logo. What does the W mean?
It's my business. I don't actually trade full time.
All right.
It stands for Wayfarer.
Wayfarer. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I thought it stood for winners, man.
Winners, yeah.
All right, we're waiting for your screen share.
We're
as soon as you're ready to go, we will
share this screen here.
All right, here it comes. I will maximize the window.
Okay, can you see this right now?
Yeah, but just give me a second. Get everything all nice and pretty. Actually, okay, that is the maximum. I'll put myself on mute, and you've got the ball. You've got the little thing at the bottom that says Google Meet is sharing your screen. Stop sharing, hide. Maybe click on that hide button so we can see your full screen. I don't know whether you can see that or not.
Okay.
I will put myself. Oh, there. Okay, that's
ignore this.
No. Do you see on the screen?
Oh yeah.
You are sharing. That's where the there you go. Okay.
So
I'll put myself on mute. You've got the floor. Tell us what's on your mind, sir.
Okay, cool. So similarly to the Bitcoin chart where we did a fib time study, moving through time between the halvings, I decided to do one on Litecoin because it has its own halving schedule that's a bit different to Bitcoin's. And so yeah, this is pretty much what it looks like. It's probably not as pretty as the last one, but I'll see if I can walk you all through it. Basically, we have the Genesis block, the first halving, second halving, and then the third upcoming halving. And the pattern that seems to play out is that about 6 to 7 weeks prior to the halving, a peak comes in, and like a midway peak. And it to me, it kind of shows me that maybe Litecoin kind of has its own gravity within the gravity of what Bitcoin is doing, and that it has its own little thing going on, and we are close approaching the point where typically, historically, well, we've actually kind of just passed the point where Litecoin bottoms out in relation to its halving. So taking this first one here, I don't know if I can zoom in here. Oh yeah, that worked. So going from the Genesis block to the first halving, this first line here is a 61.8, and then this line here is a 78.6, and it seems to be that roughly around halfway between those two, that's what the 0.836 is, kind of like that sweet spot between the 78.6 and the 88.6. is where the market kind of pivots going into the next halving. So we saw that here. We saw that here right on the 83.6. And then we've just passed that 836, or we're around it. So this third halving point obviously is dynamic. It's not a fixed date, but it's somewhere around there. So we know that somewhere kind of between this 78.6 and this 88.6 is where some kind of a market bottom would come in if price reflects the way that it has acted historically. And so, yeah, I thought this was just an interesting study. Another thing that I pointed out here, there we go, someone's put an exact date when the next Litecoin halving is going to take. So maybe I can update this chart with that. Thanks, TBG Crypto. So on the first one, using this funny 72 rule retracement to help paint a story that I like to use on my charts, we saw that there were 3 levels where a double was produced in that run up leading into the halving. So
that rally was
that
kind
a
of funny.
Silk Road reversal, or
There was actually a Chinese Ponzi scheme,
okay,
and the guy ran it all the way up to $9, and
okay,
and then the price collapsed, and he got into big trouble.
okay,
So fascinating. Like, what would be really interesting is to overlay a Bitcoin chart on this. I remember specifically that halving event, and it was right in the middle of crypto winter. And one of the things that sort of broke the crypto winter was this Litecoin rally ahead of the halving event. This is a really good lesson for all of you, is that these things, they love to rally ahead of the halving event, and then actually the date of the halving event, usually you can see on Ben's screen right there, you can see actually the price usually comes off a chunk into the actual halving event. So I remember specifically the Chinese guy, the Ponzi that he pulled on the. And I remember there was this funny meme that everybody was like, use Litecoin and if you're going to move money because it's really, really cheap. Like the fees were really low back then. And there's the meme of this Chinese lady whacking a guy in the head with a fish. I don't know whether you guys remember that or not. Do you remember that?
No, that was before my time.
Yeah. That's what I said. I told you I've been watching tick by tick by tick, and I remember sitting in front of the screen watching that whole event play out back there in 2014-15. I remember that like it was yesterday. So fascinating.
Interesting.
Wait. Can you scroll down to the bottom of the screen because we can't see the dates on the bottom of the chart? There you go.
Yeah.
So, because Litecoin just did rally off of the bottom. So, is that almost the same, that rally off of the bottom that we just saw? Did that happen? You see on the first one back in like 15 there, it was like right off that 836 number, eh? Is that what that is?
And then it happened on the second as well. The second 836 here.
All right, and so the rally that we just had here, that was off of that 836 level as well, eh?
Right. Yeah. Obviously, the actual low came in back here,
which is a little bit different. That's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. And something I was going to say is that it seems that there's a possible emerging trend of diminishing returns. Like, notice in the first two how the rally took place kind of through the major downside trend resistance. And this is, we still got quite a while to work back up there.
Just to get to that level.
Just to get to that level. And we saw 3 doubling levels in the first one. We saw 2 doubling levels in the second one. And to get to I guess, that overhead resistance if we went and followed this parallel channel here, which turned out to be quite a good resistance level in hindsight. If I'd put this up 2 weeks ago, maybe somebody could have used it. But
wow, that's exactly where this little head and shoulders that we just painted came in, eh?
Right.
Yeah.
And that falls right into the pump chaser zone as well, between the 38.2 and the 50% of that 86 level. You've got the parallel channel kind of working up, kind of like as a magnet to that point. That is 6 to 7 weeks before the third halving.
And what,
so you can
what
see
price
that
level is that?
That level.
Can you move the chart over to the left
got...
so we can see on the screen what price that is? Sorry to be a pain. There you go.
No, you're good.
Whoa, that's over $100.
Yep. Yeah. So
there's still some money to be made here, folks.
Yeah, it's a decent amount.
Yeah, like probably, and you know, Paul, would you be drawing reload zones off of this range right now? And if I did that, that to me paints, you know, like 78.6 is $50, 49.81. So, and that's also a candle.
I already have my long reload zone on that.
Pardon me?
I already have drawn the reload zone on that move up.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting on 61.8. I'm waiting on a mountain man at 61.89, something like that on Binance.
Ah, interesting. All right. And that's versus Tether?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here is, and this is the manufactured one. Let me see if I pull up the Tether chart. It's the same. Tethers, and you know, if anything, that makes perfect sense. Paul's already got it. I'm showing on mine. I'm just going to overlay this just very quickly. 61.8 here says 57.38. And it's interesting because 61.8 is actually basically the 200 period moving average there. So that's kind of interesting. Also, too, it actually looks like that is the weekly W level there, right? So that's fascinating. All right. So considering that Ben's thinking $100, you might be able to sneak yourself a nice little double on that pullback. You know, if anything, into the first quarter of the coming year, maybe even the first half, you know, keep your eyes peeled. Anywhere between 49.87 and 57.38. That would be a buy zone for good old Brian. So that's cool. Great work, Ben.
So yeah, there's that parallel channel.
Yeah. So like I said, if you did a fib off of that entire range, reload zone sitting, and what's that? So I'm colorblind. What is that line that's right at 58.50 there?
58.50. Yeah. That's the 86.18 percent level. So 72, and then to get 100% from 86 to 72.
Okay, that makes sense. And look at that. That 72 is just above $100, right at the trend line there. So that's kind of cool. Basically, your logic is if we bottom off that 86, we should go up and tag that 72, right?
Right, because that's become resistance because you got a lot of people that took positions at the 72, hoping to sell at the 38.2, get a double.
I think, you know, no offense, but I think we need to actually, maybe you and I get together one day and just do a video tutorial on this specifically, or maybe even cut apart the previous one where you explain this. Because I've had a few people ask me, what on earth are Ben's nut levels there?
Yeah, I've got a slideshow presentation ready to go. So whenever you're ready,
awesome.
You let me know.
That's cool. Wow, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So remind me.
Yeah, but I think we should do some looking at some people's requests.
Absolutely. Sure.
Go too far. Oh, one more quick thing I did want to share. I thought this was quite interesting. Sorry to derail it one more time, but this is just a quick little note. But I don't know if you can see on my screen this here.
FRB.
Yeah. So if you were to pull up that Bitcoin chart that I did, where in 2025. Kind of where the the saucer kind of ends and we break out to new highs, that's around about in March 2025.
Huh.
So I just thought
That
that
far
was
away?
interesting that we're going to get a pretty big fundamental event where the Fed wire is going to move to a standard that has a lot of underlying kind of crypto technology. Sort of,
So that's D-Day, March 25, eh?
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is that there's probably going to be a lot of speculation as to whether this thing's going to be hacked, whether it actually works, whether there's going to be funds that go missing mysteriously. So maybe buy Bitcoin just to be safe. Buy the rumor, and then if this thing actually works and everybody's happy, maybe when's our next Bitcoin topping event? According to your study, yeah. So the next halving is, I guess, March, April of 24. And you're thinking the market breaks out in mid 25 along the lines of this announcement. And that's when we get our blow off top, eh? And the blow off top doesn't really last that long, does it? It only looks like it lasts maybe about a half a year or maybe around that, eh? Is that correct? Yeah, there's that image, right?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, who knows? It could be a huge sell the rumor event, and we go and make a big giant W. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
I mean, the point here, I guess, is that, like, I would, as I said there a second ago, I like the idea that this Fed thing announced. Obviously, crypto's going to be right front and center. Everybody's going to be talking about it. It's going to be, like, basically under the microscope. And, would Bitcoin catch a bid through that? I think so.
yeah,
And
and
it
that,
just becomes everybody's in love with crypto. Crypto tastes great.
yeah.
Including U.S. Federal Reserve cryptos. Mind you, they kind of taste poopy. Oh, all right, cool.
All right, I'll yield the floor back to you.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to updates on that going forward. Okay, so as we said there a moment ago, we've actually had a couple of pretty nice donations here tonight to the cause. So thank you very much. We might as well start with Mr. Big Donator here. Super Google Lee. Do we call you Mr. Lee, Mr. Super, Mr. Google? He'd like us to look at HSI. Is this a stock or is this a cryptocurrency? And unfortunately, I'm just, I'll give you just the straight goods. If I'm not overly impressed, I'll just say that. And unfortunately, don't take it personally. If you want to take the donation back after I give you this commentary, I won't be offended. All right, so it does not appear to be in Cryptoland. Must be in stocks. HSI. Is this... what country are we looking at? Gonna need you to be a little bit more specific on HSI there, Super Googly. I'm not quite sure what it is that you're looking at. Is it this Luxor Hong Kong? I doubt that can't be it. Is that like almost like a ETF on Hong Kong market? Actually, it is interesting. We have seen a few people touting Chinese stocks. Like we have a stock pickers club that meets on Tuesday evenings. And one of the ideas coming out of the club last night was a Chinese stock. Of course, I'm not really the biggest fan of Chinese stocks, but nonetheless. So, Mr. Super Google Lee, can you help us out a little bit more? Can you maybe just give us the name of what it is that you're looking at, and I can type that in? Maybe we can do a little bit better looking up for you on that one. I did see Luke has asked us to look at DERO. See what the heck you got there. So DERO. Nothing in stocks. So crypto, this looks like it's Dero. It looks like it's KuCoin and CoinEX. Not quite sure who CoinEX is. KuCoin, of course, Korean exchange. And I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it's like KuCoin is filling the vacuum for Trexes are gone, yeah, and now FTX. I'm sure a lot of people use that to trade. Now that's gone. According to Paul, we have nothing to worry about at Binance, right, Paul?
I don't know if nothing to worry about, but I see a lot of FUD
Yeah.
and only FUD, nothing strong fundamentals or something
Well, as I
something to
had said
worry me
earlier,
about.
ironically enough, all the FTX scandal was simply they didn't keep customer funds in their accounts when they should have never touched those customer funds. That's just
In
that's
my
a horrible gaffe. And if anything, it's almost shocking that I think the guy has like a degree in like engineering and a math major, and his parents are university professors. I mean, how on earth do you make such a blatant error like that?
wasn't a error, was just intentionally.
Yeah,
He took
I
he
mean, you
took the
can't.
money.
That
He
can't.
took the
He's.
money intentionally.
You can't say that was oops. It was a mistake. I mean, that's impossible.
He's exactly like a bad trader who is going to the doesn't know how to trade. He is just taking money out his account and putting in a trading account and just losing money constantly.
Yeah.
Same concept
If I'm
on a
not
bigger scale.
mistaken, I think he like tried to single-handedly save the crypto bull market last summer, and he went and just started buying up a whole bunch of names. That if he, if the guy had just taken the goddamn TRI level 1 course, he could have
Yeah,
saved fucking billions of dollars. What's so sad is that Tom Brady football guy, if he had just taken the stupid level 1 course, cost you $1,000, he would have saved himself so many headaches. I don't understand why this education program doesn't go viral. We would have saved so many people so many headaches. But
yeah.
yeah,
It takes 3 months. It's boring. It's the process. Is
yeah,
not interesting. Is not I don't know. It's not shiny.
yeah.
So people they don't like to put the time and effort to learn. I have the same problem with some guys in the community. Just put the time and effort to learn the process. After that, sky is the limit, but you have to put the effort first and then to get the results.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, sir. Would you recommend people take the TRI education program?
Yeah, definitely. Every cycle I recommend. Every time you do the level one.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, so if you're watching this as sort of a new person to investing, you're kind of stumbling upon this channel. I mean, ironically enough, just like Paul said, I mean, unfortunately, we're not really sexy. I mean, you can see me. I mean, I don't have like chicks dripping off of me and stuff. Um, but we don't lose money, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. It's a lot of time and effort. Paper
Yeah,
trading, ugly now.
yeah. Well, and that's
I made 100 challenge for that just to do the a bit quicker. But even with that, it's hard to put to keep at the same level $100 account
yeah,
because it's the same concept. It doesn't matter if you have 100 or you have 10k. You still need to learn the process and be consistently profitable.
yeah, yeah.
Seems like Super Google Leaf give us
Oh,
the
Hang
name.
Seng Index. Oh, okay, yeah. So it is the Hong Kong stock market. All right. So actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Let's just do a quick synopsis of this Darrow, and then we'll pop on over and look at the Hong Kong market. Um, Actually, it's kind of interesting. I don't know the story to this, but it's got a bit of history. I always tell people the easiest way for you to try and figure out where an asset is going is this two words: look left. So, as we're coming down, right, that's obviously a key support level. Breakthrough there, well, that's a key support level. You can see the back and forth. Broke lower, well, that's a key support level. Rallied off of that, then broke down. So really, our next key support level is clearly this important low down in here. So if I was pulling up a chart, I would just simply say, let's draw a horizontal line off of that level. And what I often tell people is, especially when I'm working on my day trading futures contracts, I absolutely love candle body lows for trade location. So this tail here, you could make the argument there's a whole bunch of people that are bears and the market went down, and there's people that actually sold and shorted even down here. I mean, I think they probably got flushed out, but there might be people that actually have those positions on, or maybe they sold here, and if the market ever gets back into that tail, they will reverse those positions. So this often acts as a pretty good sort of pivot reference. Also notice too, just looking at this particular part of the profile, that's the bottom of value down in there. So also as well, notice the, where would Brian want to be long? Remember that whole idea of weekly price charts, and what we really want to see are weekly W's to tell us this thing's a bull. So you can see if we go back in time, the moving averages actually cross back bullishly here. And notice there's a nice little double bottom here. So this is the kind of price action that you love to see. So you notice reload zones, nice W's in reload zones, and then nice breakout through the W, moving averages cross, away we go. I might also argue too, LJ, you hear Paul talk about LJs. You might even do one off of there. Can I please have some sort of W, some sort of bullish price action on the other side of this trend line? And I actually kind of think that that's it right there. So, looking for those W's, sure like that level. That sure looks like a huge breakout level. Notice how the market broke out that particular week. And let's see if this will readjust. There we go. Broke out that particular week and then actually came back, checked the breakout and said, nope, I'm a bull, and away back up it goes. So I think there's your quote-unquote bottom in this market. Now the scary thing is, let's zoom out to where the hell we are now. Uh-oh. All right, so that was down here. Yikes. And notice there's the big volume node, right? So clearly a lot of people are along this story from right down here off of this level. I think that is the floor, if you will. Remember we said that look left level. Notice that that happens to be in that area as well. And you can make the argument maybe even like a monthly price chart. If we just draw a horizontal line right off of that, right? That is basically, let's see if that adjusts. Yep, there we go. So that is basically a huge W. Down, up, down, consolidation, breakout. That's a W. Whoops. Like so. All right, you can see the W in hindsight. So not a big surprise. And you can think of this as a Wyckoff check. We used to call it the Benkoff check. I don't know. In fact, I even remember, Derek, Ben, I don't know whether you saw. Derek's stock is finally coming to life. What is it? It's Franklin Wireless, right? Do you remember that? He's still here?
Yeah, I don't remember. Was that in the SOF club that he brought that up?
Yeah, well, it's a stock, so it wasn't crypto.
Yeah.
But, It's interesting they have Franklin versus Tether. But look at his stock finally getting going. It's a miracle.
Hey,
so anyway, this is a name in the stock market. I'm seeing a lot of this kind of action. I love that kind of chart. Ooh, sexy sex. So, hopefully your cryptos look like this. This is the kind of asset that I love to invest in because you can bang out doubles really easily. My hunch is on this one, I think there's even a big old price gap right up in this area. I think there's a lot of money to be made on this stock. Right up in, look at that. There's a big old hole in the charts right there at $17. So anyway, nice to see you. Derek, if you are watching this, we miss you dearly. Anyway, whenever I think of Derek in my mind, he goes, Hey, that's the Ben Goff check. Do you remember when he said that? I love that. That was just the best.
Yeah, good times.
um, so hope you're doing well. Franklin? No. Uh, Derek. All right. All right. So back to your story. Do you kind of see all the difference here? You know, if we actually look at, like I said, what does Brian think is a half decent stock to buy? Although it just disappeared. Oh, darn it. And I never remember the symbol. Franklin. And I even own the stock too, which is real. That's not good. If there's a blue mark here, that means I own it. But do you see how long this base took to form? That's pretty typical. So, if we go date range, you see the moving averages are very negative. We dump down. Let's even start there. Well, that's this is a weekly price chart. That's 58 bars, or basically about a year or so, just a little bit longer than a year, right? So I like those saucer bottoms, and believe it or not, I wouldn't even be surprised if this has to go sideways a bit more here. But back to your idea. Okay, so we just made a new low. If we use that same logic, where's 58 bars? Well, that's over here. That takes us July 2023. It's interesting. I think we saw a couple studies from Ben and also Paul that sort of suggested, next summer is probably not a bad time to think about pivots. Remember, I showed you that Twitter chart. Let's see if I can just show you that real quickly. Hopefully I can. Come on. Oh, no. What the hell is all this nonsense? What the hell is this? I just want to go. Okay, you have to go over here. Yeah, there. I showed you that this chart here, right? Again, notice, look at the date on this, August 23. I could very easily see the middle of the summer. That's when our bottom actually comes in. So looking at your name, and I see this a lot in the market right now. I would say that, if we did things like look left, we are coming down into interesting areas. I told you candle body lows for trade location. I love that. Not a big surprise. We got a bit of a bounce off of that. I don't like the look of this. Unfortunately, this means to me that I think this low has to be tested. Because, we know that markets don't make bottoms with V's, right? Bottoms usually look like W's, something like that. So a little concerning. This might even be a bit of a head and shoulders. So you might get a nice little counter trend rally here. But if we crap out, then you can see the head and shoulders is actually going to project a serious test of our lows there. And I kind of like that thinking. I think you're probably a little bit early calling a bottom here. I don't think technically this thing's quite ready to go. My hunch is the momentum indicators, they probably made like a pretty significant low and then they're V bottoming now. Let's go see what they look like. Well, not bad. I mean, big fat MACD bull div. You always like to see that. Willie was stupid there. We've come out of that, that stupid condition. Notice RSI is coiling here. If anything, our little conversation about the inverted head and shoulders, if that coil happens to break to the downside, you can see things like Willie have already started to roll over here. Then, maybe that sets the stage for that final push down below. I'd also say, too, that, because we don't have any bullish market structure, see how we went down and then up and then we M'd out and then... So I'm worried we went down, we up, are we going to M out? And then if we at least had like bullish market structure, we could start doing fog and bombs. I don't like the look of this M top up here. If anything, I see something like that and I start thinking 2.618. That's a negative number, so obviously we can't use that. But if we go to like log and then we change this to a log study. All right, so where does that suggest? Okay, and actually this makes a lot of sense. So you can see based off of the chaos theory, 2.618, would that have been a good initial objective? I think so. Market rallies away from it, starts to break down. Would the 4.669 level be a good objective? I think so. Look at that. That's crazy ass shit, eh? So is it a good idea to maybe include Feigenbaum levels in your studies to try and come up with price objectives? It's not a bad idea. And then, kind of like where is the bottom? When you change this to a log chart, you notice all of these price levels all start jumping out, and actually this move doesn't look nearly as big. And notice, look where 877 is. It's just basically a test of the original bottom here. The problem with TA is that I can't really comment on the fundamentals of this kind of story. So, does it have a gazillion coins out? I don't know. Interesting how we're basically flirting with a very important trend line here right now, eh? This doesn't necessarily mean it's a sell signal if we break this level, but if you see that we break this level and then you actually get bearish structure on the other side of this trend line, that becomes a huge sell signal. So, and somebody's saying, Luke, you're saying here it's a privacy coin. I think I heard that the privacy coins are under the gun here right now a little bit, aren't they? Paul, are you watching that space at all?
Privacy coin, no.
No. I guess the way that I would look at this is if I was doing trendline analysis. There's your original market structure top, and I definitely think the market's respecting those Feigenbaums. So that's clearly your trend. Now, if we can hold here, and instead of all this ME type stuff, this thing can actually go and W out here. It's asking a heck of a lot, but if it can somehow hold these lows and W out, then I think you got a pretty good shot of taking a shot up top there. And probably what it means is we're just going to go back up and test like these highs, right into the spring and summer. So your best case scenario is to rally back up to $15 area here, and then I think you run into an absolute brick wall. So fingers crossed for the bulls. This thing turns through here. I don't think I really have a signal. Our rule is we want to see a W on the other side of trend lines. And you can see how we came up to the trend line, failed, came up to the trend line. We worked our way higher, but now we're coming back down. So this thing, what we really want to see is, can I please get a W here? And like I said, if we start failing through this trend line and you actually start seeing bearish market structure, M's, that kind of thing, look out below, right? And interesting how, for our level 2 program, the volume profile, we would put a big heart. Where's the heart? There it is, right here. And we would call this a muak. This part of the profile needs filling in because really the profile wants to look like a parabola, where all of this has been filled in. It looks like this. So there's a bit of unfinished business. And that's what usually happens, right? Because there's a bunch of back and forth, and all of a sudden the thing just explodes higher, right? And so quickly moves up top here, and it leaves all these holes in the profile. And now we have to go through the process of filling all of this in. So I hope that helps. I mean, we can definitely add that to I'll put this in the room if we want to add this to the little app. Where is our room? There it is. Ben, if you could maybe throw that into the group chat, that would be, or the spreadsheet, that'd be kind of cool. There's some interesting levels of reference for you there, and I'll give you the link to that chart there in the Hangout, and pull up that chart and see if you can understand the logic of what I've done here. And actually, it might be interesting, too, to do Feigenbaums off of the bottoms and see how well that worked. So that bottom, 2.618, yep, I'd say that nailed that. 4.669, yep, I'd say that nailed that. And 877, I bet you're a little bit bummed we never got up there, right? Then there's also another one that came in here. So 2.618, so that's why we stopped there. 4669, right on the nose. So, okay. I think I'm going to leave that at that because we are getting on here. And Mr. Big Donator did give us a bit of money there to take a look at that HSI. So let's go ahead and do that. This is Luxor Hong Kong UCITS ETF DIST. This is listed on the Euronext Paris exchange. There's, I think there's better Hong Kong proxies for us to look at. There's the Hong Kong 50. I guess that's probably the whole stock market there. Wonder if there's like a Hong Kong ETF. There's your, this is in Milan. It's crazy exchanges. I was kind of hoping we could get a US listing here. China Asset Management, Hong Kong Banks. Hong Kong. Oh, Jesus. That's tough to... Oh, here we go. EWH, iShares MSCI Hong Kong Index Fund on the NYSE. That's probably the one we want to look at. So let's see what we got here. Holy crap. Up and down like a horse drawers, eh? So just FYI, for whatever it's worth, like I said, we had a fun meeting, our stock pickers meeting yesterday, and the big pick out of Hong Kong, and it's interesting that you are thinking along those lines, was Mogu. What do you think? That looks like a really interesting looking chart, eh? Look at that. Is there any money to be made on that son of a gun? Look at that. Mr. What's your name? Mr. Super Google Lee? Go buy yourself 100 shares of this, and I'm telling you, bud, if this thing doesn't double in the next year, I'll buy the stock off of you, right? You go spend 275 Hong Kong dollars, and I think you could get your $78 contribution back very, very quickly. Look at that OBV. Somebody came in and just bought a bucket load of this thing. It just gapped higher. Look at that. On 22 million shares. So this was David O's contribution to the club meeting last night. As I said, I'm not the biggest fan of investing in Chinese stocks. I have issues with compliance and reporting and whether you can trust people, but I'm not gonna make that decision for you. You obviously decide on your own, and what the hell, man, it's your money. So if you want to take a flyer, all I'm saying is you're buying the bottom end of the range. And we actually be interesting. Let's see if you guys on the feed know this line. What do we say? The longer the channel. How does the rest of that line go? And that's a pretty damn long price channel. That's going back to May, where it's basically just stopped. So it's interesting how this is a Chinese stock. There was another Chinese stock that actually I was interested in. Thank you. Adam already got it. Jeez, Adam, he's pretty quick. He's picked up on this stuff. In fact, in Portugal, Adam would literally finish my sentences before the words even came out of my mouth. Anyway, yeah, that's right, TBG. All right, so anyway, there was another one. It was called Hello, and of course, down in China, they love like Hello Kitty, Hello Group, all this kind of stuff. They love that. Anyway, this is a stock that just recently popped, and it's also Hong Kong. Look at that move, eh? And I'm long this thing. You can see I got blue. I don't know whether I'm intentionally long this thing, but I did buy it. So anyway, there you go. Look at the volume pouring in. Look at that OBV. And I think what's going on here is basically Winnie the Pooh. He like literally shut the whole damn country down. And we all know, of course, that he's basically declared war on the Hong Kong citizens. So I'm wondering whether this almost, they always say in Chinese society, you don't want to lose face. So with him having to sort of acquiesce to all the protesters about the lockdowns, I wonder whether the people in Hong Kong are catching a bit of a bid here, almost as sort of like a relief rally. It feels like that. So those are two perfectly good examples of Hong Kong stocks that you can see. They're doing pretty well here. So let's go look at your Hong Kong ETF. First things first. Actually, let's maybe just zoom out a bit so we can get a pretty good idea of what the hell the whole picture looks like. All right. So ironically enough, the whole Chinese economy, and I remember this because I was a broker in Vancouver, and a lot of commodity stocks in Vancouver did really well. But coming out of the dot-com bust, so there's 2000. Of course, this is like the handover of Hong Kong from the British. The British owned it here, and then the Chinese took over, and then the Chinese just pulled the carpet out from underneath the market, which is so typical Chinese. So, dot-com bust, unholy alliance made by the Americans and the Chinese, because they didn't want to see China go the way that the Tiananmen Square shit went. So the Americans were kind of propping up the Chinese Communist Party, which is so ironic. What a twist of fate, eh? Anyway, big build out of the Chinese economy into the 2008 Olympics. And this was also another pivot. Just like the Hong Kong handover, the 2008 Olympics was a massive pivot for the Chinese market. Now, you tell me, did the Chinese happen to have another big historical international event that just so happened to happen right here? And did we just get China'd again? China, China, China? Don't get China'd. The British got China'd. The whole Western world, and actually maybe the Yangtze River and the Three Gorges Dam got China'd. And now we just got Winnie the Pooh. And it's kind of funny, right? Because the Canadian venture market, I don't know. I think the symbol is a funny symbol. It's like XJ or something like that. I can't remember what the hell it is. Anyway, I got it on here somewhere. But the Canadian venture market, it's, as I said, a lot of commodities here in Canada. So if you're going to build out your economy, JX, that's what it is. The Canadian venture market, of course, is basically China's bitch. And what's fascinating is where is it? Right here, February of 2022. There we go. That's where the Chinese Olympics were. And, the joke that we had is, oh, Jesus, are we going to get China'd again? And sure enough, we just got China'd again. Fuckers. Goddamn Winnie the Pooh. And the worst part about it is the Canadians, they go, okay, well, that was the last time. They're not going to be such jerks again. They'd never do that to us again. And they just did it to us again. Bastards. Anyway, so Chinese, they pulled the carpet out after the Winter Olympics. Of course, Vladdy's gone and done what he did in Eastern Europe. And then, of course, unfortunately for China, they are going through the aftermath of kind of the same thing as 2008 for the Americans. So they ridiculously inflated their real estate market, whole cities of empty buildings. And I would actually make the argument that this whole COVID-0 policy is nothing more than a smokescreen so that the public doesn't think about the horrendous, like literally trillions of dollars of real estate, poof, up in smoke as the bubble burst. And of course, all these Chinese real estate firms are all scrambling just to try and stay alive right now. I would actually make the argument that the whole COVID-0 policy and the whole lockdown of the country was to actually deal with that real estate bubble bursting versus anything else. And what's ironic is now, mysteriously, China's basically given up on the whole damn COVID-0. And actually what I'm hearing is that the cases in China right now are absolutely exploding now because they don't really have a vaccine. So the question you have to ask yourself in a chart like this is, first and foremost, what letter of the alphabet is that bottom? Is that a W? Because remember, what we really like if we're bulls is we want to see a W where we have basically anecdotal evidence that the bulls stopped the selling, and then the bulls stopped the selling again, and just stepped in and said, no more down, you go up. No more down, you go up. And this is the establishment of a new uptrend. Now, do we have that here? I would unfortunately say no. We have a V bottom that at some point down the road, kind of like what we were talking about that altcoin, kind of like what you see here. This V bottom, was that the bottom? No, we had to make a new low. Is this the bottom? V bottom? No, we had to make a new low. Well, maybe this is the bottom. No, we had to make a new low. Okay, well, maybe this is the bottom. Oh, there's a new M. Yuck. And boom, make a new low. So there's no real signs of the bull here. If anything, this is exactly what we would call a dead cat bounce. And, I would have to ask, if you were a typical Hong Kong citizen, do you believe that Winnie the Pooh is your friend now? I think that's a dangerous assumption. And I mean, like, hell, I live in basically Hongkouver. Half of the Hong Kong population has done nothing more than just relocate from Hong Kong to Hongkouver. And I think that trend is continuing. It's not decelerating, it's accelerating. So interesting how this was the most recent bearish market structure failure right in here. And all we've done is just bounced right back into that original structural fail. I'd also ask, what have we done here fib-wise? And just eyeballing this looks to me like we've rallied into Collins' dump chaser zone. So if you wanted to short this and we were way down here, do you really want to step in and sell here, or do you want to wait for that bounce? And then if this happens to be in 38.2 to 50%, Collins' dump chaser zone, then, oh, look at that. There we are. I mean, Mr. Gann would say at any given point in time, you should expect a 50% retracement of whatever the previous move is. That's just natural. Mr. Burchett would say, well, at any given point in time, you should expect a 38.2 bounce. So Mr. Collin, I don't know what Colin's last name is. I've forgotten. He would say that, well, gee whiz, if you want to get in on this short, wait for that bounce. And then if we get any signs of failure, new market structure, just like this, then there is your short entry to play this move back down below. And notice they left a gap on the price chart. So that gap right there, who can tell me and help maybe this gentleman if he doesn't know, what's the statistical probability that we will fill that gap in, i.e. price will have to come back down here and explore that level at some point in the future? And it's a pretty high number. So just FYI on that. It turns out it's like 91%. So is this a buy? Absolutely not. It is not a buy whatsoever. Is this, well, maybe I could have caught a falling knife and enjoyed a nice dead cat bounce rally. Yeah, I think so. I think that would be the trade. And, this is actually what we call an engulfing bar. So that bar right there alone is bullish. It also looks to me like this is an AB equals CD. And this bar right here is actually what we call a key reversal. So if that's the case, then what this really is saying is we have an initial move here from the lows, the bottom of that bar there, up to this. Then we had a little consolidation. And then we're probably going to get a follow-through move off of that reversal bar up into these levels here. Does this make sense? Well, we said that gaps like to be filled in. There's a big honking gap way up there. There's also another gap right there. We talked a little bit about horizontal support and resistance. Benkoff check. This is actually a really cool Benkoff check level because that is a huge technical breakdown level. And you notice that's right against these highs. So there are people that are probably short off of here, and they've got their stop loss order sitting right here. So they bump this market up into sort of Winnie the Pooh, taking his foot off of the Hong Kong citizens' throats, and it's enjoying a nice dead cat bounce. But this is dangerous to assume that this thing has actually bottomed. This to me just has dead cat bounce written all over it. And, as I had said there earlier, if I was, our level 3 program, which is an advanced program, I used to be an options broker. So a lot of options principles. I teach the level 3ers, the advanced students, and I would use the 50% level as a target. And if prices got down all the way down here, I might have been going shopping for, like, say, a $20 call option. Knowing that the market's going to go to the 50% level, we know that this option would have $2.11 of intrinsic value. So if this option has $2.11 of intrinsic value at the price objective, I'd be willing to pay $1 for that option. I can absolutely guarantee you there's no way you're going to be able to buy that $22 or the $20 call for $1 now. That's just not going to be the case. And if anything, had I taken, let's say off of that engulfing bar, I was like, gee whiz, that's fallen an awful long way. The 6-month call options are $1 for that $20 strike, and I'm looking for 22. I'd actually be taking profits here pretty soon. So I hope that, what do you think, Mr. Super Google Lee? Did you get your money's worth in that analysis? I hope so. All right. I'll wait for your feedback. If you have any further questions, please ask. I did see 1 or 2 other requests. Let's maybe, if we can find another crypto to end the show on tonight, that'd be kind of cool. I gotta say, I'm interested in LTC with fundamental event less than a year out. Maybe Ben can do a similar study he did on BTC on LTC. Well, you got that, Adam. Your wish is our command. Thank you, Ben. That was great stuff. So Super Google.
It will be in the app as well. So.
Oh, it's in the. Oh, okay, cool. So.
Yeah.
If you want to access this later on, like Ben has put this app together for us, which is so bloody cool. There's the Duro we looked at just a minute ago. And you can just click through these different tabs down at the bottom. And I've shown you, I absolutely love this study that I show people. And now Ben has gone and added this Litecoin study here as well. Thank you, Ben. That's totally awesome of you. You are the bestest. Okay, well, I don't know whether I'm seeing any other requests. Did you guys see any other requests? I think that's about it. Oh, hey, Great Del Moody's here. Hey, buddy. He's saying, any thoughts on GBTC? Suppose my biggest thought is Kathy Woods keeps buying this damn thing? That baffles me. So I don't know why she's buying an over-the-counter stock. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think probably this is going to look the same as our Bitcoin perp analysis. It's basically the same thing. So this happens to be a stock market proxy. You can see we are coming back down into previous bottoms. I know it's a little scary for you guys, but, kind of like when we were looking at that Duro and I said candle body lows for trade location. It's actually interesting how GBTC doesn't have that there, but notice, there's a cheeky little gap right there. What is that? $7.35. Here we are now at $25. Is that right? No. Here we are, $8.40. So we're coming down into that area. I don't know whether I would really want to look at this. I mean, the problem with this thing is it's over the counter, which means that it's highly manipulated. Highly, highly manipulated. I mean, you think FTX is manipulated. Oh, boy. Oh boy. See, the problem is how do you do fundamental analysis on an OTC stock? I hope you understand. The directors of this company have no legal obligation to tell you the truth. None whatsoever. And now you're saying there's lots of FUD about Grayscale's assets. Yeah, well, I can't really comment on that. I don't know this story particular. What I would say, though, is I would never, ever recommend anybody ever invest in an OTC stock. You want to trade it? All right, fine, trade it. But just understand, these guys have no legal obligation to tell you the truth whatsoever. And I've seen a lot of hearts broken on OTC stocks. I mean, a lot of hearts. So just be aware of that. Ironically enough, OTC stock and crypto, it's basically the same thing, right? So unregulated space, no legal obligation for anybody to tell you the truth. Has this thing actually bottomed yet? You can see weekly chart, moving average relationship. There's no bottom here yet. Should we bottom here? And, as I said before, candle body lows, I really like. If we look at the Bitcoin, probably the oh no, actually you don't even see it on here. But that low, that pivot low through the Fed was that low. If we look at over here, I love this level now. And it's getting a little scary. But I love, remember I said that mining firm has a cost of production of $6,500 for Bitcoins. Notice that number there, 53.43. I really like that level as a trade location, which of course, unfortunately, is just going to break a lot of people's hearts. So sad. Anyway, all right. Certainly, sir. Thanks for the analysis. Okay, good. I hope you got some value out of that. Great Delmidi says, does OTC mean the same as what pink sheets used to be? Basically, I mean, the pink sheets are over the counter. They used to call it the bulletin board down in the States. Do you remember bulletin board? But basically, yeah, same thing. I mean, that's a real garbage stock. Absolute garbage stock. All right. Somebody asked, Crypto Balls asked, how might you play the open interest on BTC? I don't understand the question. How do I play the open interest? I mean, you're going to buy a call option on open interest or something like that? I don't quite understand. Are you talking about the options? See, actually interesting, into the end of the year. And, that is kind of interesting. You see these big bull divs. There are a lot of potential bull divs. You can see some of them are trying to confirm here. There was a name that we were looking at earlier tonight. I couldn't believe how many bull divs there were. I think it was this thing. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is an interesting commentary because this is OKCoin's sort of Binance coin, right? And that Binance, gee whiz, that Binance coin has done well. So look at this. 10 confirmed bull divergences. Do we have trade location? Yes, we're at the bottom end of the range. Do we have indicator confirmation? 10? I mean, look at this. Willie, OBV, MFI, CMF, squeeze momentum, Willie again, MVI, MWF, RSI, MACD, all confirmed bull divs. That's incredible. I can't remember the last time I saw that. So somebody asked about this earlier today, and I was like, holy free holies. And you tell me, I mean, what letter of the alphabet is that? Down, up, down, breakout. That looks like a W to me. And, here is this commentary, kind of the same thing as Litecoin. I don't think it's a good idea to chase this thing because it has worked up quite a bit. But, I'm definitely, problem is I used to have an account on OKCoin a million years ago. I don't know whether I want to go back to the casino. I mean, those guys are nuts over there. But we got a nice pullback down into sort of this $15 to $18 area. And if I was a motivated buyer, gee whiz, I think I should go pick up a bit of that. Anyway, interesting. So anyway, that's kind of sort of total aside. Okay. All right. So just to finish off, and actually this is an interesting commentary. Again, because I'm a commodities broker, I look at the market a little bit differently than most of the people in this space. So one site that I really like is this TFC commodities charts. This was where I showed you that cost of production article that was put out. And these guys follow crypto. There's Bitcoin. And something that jumped out at me, and we were talking about this recently, you can see, I mean, this is 5 Bitcoins. So 5 times 17,000. I mean, you do the math. This is some serious money. 472 contracts traded today. I mean, there's some serious dough being passed around here. I'm a big fan of the puts, right? And where is the put open interest? Into December. Keep in mind, this contract expires at the end of the month. Thought it was interesting. Yeah, here we are. Notice, and actually it looks like, did these numbers come off a bit? Because I remember there was quite a bit of open interest around that 18. These are the puts, eh? Oh, this is the micro Bitcoin contract. I don't know whether this is the right one. I did remember seeing there was quite a bit of open interest around the. Oh, here we go. This is better. Okay, yeah, here we go. So 390. I think this is your base, right? Because remember, and especially this is the futures contract. Do you think retail, any of us, are writing put options on these big futures contracts? No. This is all institutional players. So keep in mind, this is cash settled, but nonetheless, works as a very good hedging proxy, especially if you don't want to sell your Bitcoins. You just want to grab the money. Notice the heaviest open interest in the puts. This is where institutions are willing to buy Bitcoins or, the cash equivalent value. And you can see the heaviest open interest is at 18,000 and also 17.5. And I had commented to the site recently that I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts that by December 29th, we will settle somewhere up here around this 18,000. The irony of it all, of course, is that's happening a hell of a lot quicker than even I expected. So I was expecting that to be into the end of the year. Think Santa Claus rally. And I think you can make the argument this is higher highs and higher lows. That's what defines a bull market. I know Paul wants to think about shorting this, but this is that futures contract. This is that spot December contract, and 18,000 is basically right there. So you can see they already had it up there. So quite literally what this means to me is we could actually just sit here right through the end of the year, and the institutional guys are perfectly happy. If they close it anywhere above that 18,000, then all those put contracts that they wrote expire worthless, and that probably makes them exceedingly pleased. And I hate to say it, I mean, call a spade a spade. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. What letter of the alphabet is this? Down, up, what's that high? 17,935. Down, have we taken out these lows? No. Up, what letter of the alphabet is that? I mean, it's uglier than ugly, but a W is a W is a W. So, if they just finish this market out anywhere up in here, totally laughing. And all of those puts that they wrote will expire worthless. All of these, if they can get the market to go out at like 18,001, then all of these options that they write all expire worthless, and that is a big cha-ching. And of course, all these puts expire worthless as well. So, all right, hopefully that helps. Okay, why don't we wind tonight up? Sorry I talked so long. I went on an extra 20 minutes there. I hope you guys got some good value out of that. The only thing left for us to do, of course, is let's see how our grand prediction machine has been working lately. Do we have a number for tonight's show? Ben, did you update this? Look at that. Last time we met was the 30th of November. Wow. How are we going to do this?
Let me update that now. Oh, sorry.
Who?
I'll update that right now.
Oh, no. I mean, we can do it together. So today is the, what is it, the 15th, 14th, something like that?
14 when
14, but 15th over there in Romania already, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian, I'm not bearish on Bitcoin.
Ah.
I'm forced by my plan to be bearish because we didn't broke the range.
I'm not telling you which way to think. I'm just giving you my opinion. That's the only thing that matters here.
But at the same time, I have a trend channel on 4-hour chart still valid, and that will give me a target of above 19K at the end of the year.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
And will correspond to the 61.8 short reload zone on big range. So that could be a nice. I'm forced by my plan. I'm short now on a SFU setup, but that doesn't mean I'm bearish.
Okay, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just,
I even posted.
I'm just a gnarly old technician, and remember, you don't trade these futures contracts, right? You're over on Binance trading all their fund contracts, right? And
if you take a look at my chart, you will see the channel.
Yeah. Okay. So please don't be defensive. I mean, I'm not making.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not bearish.
Okay. I'm certainly not. I'm not being critical of you whatsoever. If anything, I see this. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. We've already done lots of analysis.
Yeah.
And just for the record, you heard from Ben or from Paul. He is not bearish.
Not at all.
And if anything, we should go to the spreadsheet, and you're going to see Paul is going to vote like a 2.
Exactly.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Okay, so the last time we did this, did you and I vote 1s each? Is that what we voted?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, isn't that interesting? So actually, we missed a week. So technically,
but you can take a look at the last one. We can take a look at last Wednesday to see.
Yeah, but you know what? We were both right here, so why don't we just leave it at that?
Yeah.
All right. Grand predictions for next week. I don't know, Paul. Do I have to ask what you are? No. So Ben's going to go with a big 0. You're not really impressed now, eh? Is that your vote there, Ben?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. That's fine. All right. So a neutral vote from Ben. Paul, what's your vote?
1.
1. All right. Slightly higher.
1 or 1.5, something like that.
1.5. Okay. 1.5. Not quite uber bullish, but getting there. I mean, maybe we even need to have that as a color. And I actually like that idea. Maybe we do this show in 2 weeks' time. Because I do like the idea that we will be about $300 higher here on the 29th for that expiry. I just can't tell what they're going to do around Christmas. Because, for whatever it's worth, like I said, I've been in this silly game now in Bitcoin now for 8 years. And I have yet to see a Christmas day where the crypto kids wake up here in the West and the Chinese haven't shit all over our Christmas morning. It's almost like you can set your watch to it. But next week is the 21st, so that's even before Christmas. So I think I'll give a 1. I'm comfortable with that. I think we are going to be higher. So if anything, there's a nice spread: 0, 1, and 1.5. It sounds to me like the panel is thinking up a year, so that's cool, and maybe sideways. So. Okay, closing thoughts. Always like to get closing thoughts from the gang to take us on out of here. Paul, any closing thoughts for these good people?
The same thing like every week. Just manage your risk, play your setups, learn the process. If you don't have a process yet, learn the process, and then start working your way and up in the market.
Sounds good. I like that.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. Excellent. Well said. And Ben, closing thoughts from the great state of Florida.
Sending some PMA your way.
For
for
Lily?
you and Liam
You're
tomorrow.
awesome.
Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And send some thoughts and prayers, everybody.
Mm.
And check out the app. It's there for free. It's there for you.
Yeah.
Let us know if there's anything else you want to see on it. This is all for you.
Such a cool.
And
You can just do the little thing on your iPhone, boom, and you can get it right on your phone, right?
yeah, it just looks to the website, so it's not really an app that you download through the store. So you don't have to sign up or anything. It's just
Cool.
a shortcut to the website.
Right on.
Yeah, and yeah, just keep learning and sharpening your tools as you go through this bear market, and I'm sure it will pay off down the road. I'm about to go on to level 3, so looking forward to that.
Oh, score. So you're going to be an
Yeah.
options aficionado, are you?
There you go. Yeah, TRI is a good place, and I'm learning a lot. So yeah, feel very
Fantastic.
fortunate to be part of the community.
Actually, it'd be really cool when when we get you schooled up with harmonics and you can start doing harmonic patterns. I got a funny feeling your halving event chart with harmonic patterns could be just sick. So I can't wait for that. Sounds like I'm actually excited for you. So
Looking forward to it.
okay, everybody. Why don't we leave it at that? Great conversation tonight. Very active chat, and thank you very much for that very nice donation from Super Google Lee. And hit the like button, subscribe, ring Ben's bell, Paul's too, to be notified when we do this next. PMA for the win. And I think the only thing left to say, since I haven't done it in a while, is I'll take us on out of here. Hugs and kisses to everybody. Lots of love. I have to say I'm very appreciative of everything that's happened with TRI and the community and everybody in the universe that's gotten value out of this. I hope I've made JoJo proud. Have yourselves a good evening. Be safe wherever you are in the world. Go slowly here. All the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say is bye for now.